Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review, chapter 1164, Davy's Blood, which this chapter, let's see, I'm just finally covering this one now because, well, the next chapter is going to be out tomorrow, or technically it is tomorrow in the UK, but you know. But this chapter is basically following the events off of the last chapter in which you see the Rocks pirates. To it, see basically its main members like Rocks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido, along with Roger and Garp team up to fight Emu. Of course, you see a bunch of other Rocks pirates backstabbing each other, like Captain John with a magnet fruit. Ginzo then betraying him, and then Ginzo trying to betray Shiki. And you also see Dragon lose Shanks as he due to the magnet abilities from Captain John. As a result, Baby Shanks lands in a treasure chest that's likely to be picked up by the Roger pirates. You know, all that kind of stuff going on. Emu resulting in Emu in the end trying to possess or dominate reverse Rocks in order to wipe out the Davy clan. As he realizes that Blackbeard has what's Blue Star? Oh, it's just a random name I put. I just put Blue and Star. Blue, my favorite name, and Star. I just thought because of the whole with Star Saber with just a random like a Blue Star Saber. If you want, it might even be a subtle reference to the Star Saber and Transformers, but that's that. But anyway, I'm here to discuss One Piece. So if you have any questions about that, feel free. Anyway, where was I? Rocks is being possessed but reversed by Emu, and we're about to see Rocks being turned into a demon. Let's see, will this finally lead up to the event in which Sengoku described as of Rocks versus Garp and Roger teaming up? Well, we'll have to read this chapter, but before we got that, we've got the cover spread here. Hold on a sec. I just realized I got rid of the text, but this one here is a reader request by Tomura Shinimo, where Piranha's chasing a rabbit with a watch, which we see she's basically chasing Rudolph, Big Mom's homie. Let's see. That's how I did my name too. I used the power from Power Rangers, that part too, and I just didn't three random numbers. The 99, okay, 92, fair enough. Okay, let's see. That's fair. Anyway, hope you enjoy what I have to say for this chapter. But yeah, anyway, onto the cover. Basically, you got Piranha chasing Rudolph and Big Mom's homie rabbit, if you will, who is carrying a pocket watch. This seems to be a reference to, of course, Alice in Wonderland, which I believe this cover came out during Halloween, so I suppose that's sort of fitting, or at least the week of Halloween. With Shanks just Hawkeye just looking on in the distance, or let's see Piranha thinking, I'll catch this rabbit for Hawkeye. As you got like her ghosts getting rabbit ears and all that stuff, which I will admit, it would be interesting to see if these two characters ever interact, but I think Oda is basically done with Rudolph the moment Chopper and Carrot teamed up to capture what's her name? Let's see, Broly, yeah, or Branch as Luffy likes to call her. So but anyway, it's a nice little Alice in Wonderland reference, but anyway, that's all there really is to it. It's just a nice little cover. So on to the actual chapter. It's itself, I guess. Anyway, let me just find the first page. I'm spoiling quite a bit with the. Let's see. We see Rocks is continuing to be dummy reversed with Emu. Everyone is just like Whitebeard's asking what is wrong with you and all that stuff, and as we see everyone. Hold on, let me just find it. Everyone is watching, commenting that their attacks didn't work, and they seem to be puzzled by what's going on, not seemingly realize that Emu is just about to turn Rocks into a demon, with him going like, persistent thou art, as Rox is doing his best to resist, and he's saying, telling Emu not to downplay the power of humanity, as let's see, hold on, let me just find it. Oops. As Rox ends up talking about Davy D. Jones was once king of the world, if you will, giving us this very large info dump. Power 99 says, this chapter got me filmed somewhere about Garp, because I can't believe he stayed with the Marines after this. Well, I think, I can't really, I see you've already left, but I will say this, Garp gives his reasoning in the next chapter, though granted that's not officially out, and I have to wait and see how it's officially translated, but I think, Garp does give his reasons, and honestly, I can see why, from his perspective, he might try and still say, even though, arguably, yes, the world government is very sketchy, but I say, at the moment, this is not really the time to talk about it, but yeah. Anyway, I see you've left, but thank you for your comments. It's been a while since I've had them in these One Piece chapters. So yeah, see, Rox reveals that apparently Davy D. Jones was actually once king of the world, with whoops. Emu gets furious at these words, saying, "Silence! He was never king, not for an instant. The grievance between Mu and Davy has nothing to do with thee." With Rox and saying, "Then why are you being so panicked over something as trivial as Davy's name?" As Rox, mocks him, saying that you've been terrified of Davy's name for years, as we see Eris running with Blackbeard. Let's see Blackbeard saying that you thought that Davy's will might be passed down, one day come for you to fulfill the promise. So it's revealing that last chapter, the promise, is something to do with Davy D. Jones, Davy G. Jones, as Rox mocks him, saying, "What's more frightening to you, Davy D. Jones or Joe Boy?" Revealing that Rox knows both about Davy D. Jones and Joy Boy, and talks about how, as Emu then just says, "Cease thou dreaming. Their kind will never be seen again once I have eradicated thee," as he's talking about probably wiping out Rox and his bloodline. As then we get Emu then starting to mock Rox, saying that he's found the perfect soldiers to serve him. Gigantic and harmless and conflicted. With Rox saying the giants he fools don't mess with Howls, they only want peace. With Emu mocking, saying that this is indeed a golden opportunity, such willing puppet of a king will never come along twice. As Rox is just saying, no, don't touch and all that stuff. And saying, just like thee, in fact, now stop wasting time, and demands that you bring an end to the dream of Davy. And, Emu basically slammed Rox down to the floor, if you will. And we start to see him transforming into a demon, and Big Mom is shocked by what's going on and going like, what happened and all that stuff. As Rox realizes that he can no longer hold back the will to stop Davy from stop Mu from fully possessing him over, if you will. And as this happens, oops, let's get there. Oops. Oops, there we go. As we see that Rox is now fully possessed by the demon, and says, "End Davy by thy own hand," as Emu commands, saying to erase all life involved on God Valley. Big Mom's surprised that Rox has somehow gotten bigger, with Rox saying, "All of you move it. There is blood that must be erased from history." Rox then jumps up to where Kylo is. Kylo's confused about what Rox is doing and then slams him in to like a wall as it seems to have knocked Kylo out. And Big Mom gets mad, saying, "Rox, what are you doing, turning against your own crew and all of your own people, if you will?" But Rox then attacks her and sends her sort of flying, if you will. Let's see, crashing past Rightbeard. Is that with Rightbeard asking Rox, saying, "Is that all we are to you, Rox? Impotence?" As Rox goes, "Yes," and then you have Rox. Let's see. Oops. Nope, gotta go further up. You have Rox, let's see, then clashing with Whitebeard with advanced Kokrazaki, with like Rox trying to attack with his sword, but Whitebeard blocking with his arm. The clash is so powerful it starts causing a cracks in one of the mountains that does the prayer for God Valley, shocking some Marines, as we seeing oh, let me find it. Yeah. Let's see. We see God Valley's mountain being destroyed. One of the pieces falling down, about to land on a bunch of ships. As you got many people shouting, "Run for your lives! The mountain's coming down!" The mountain destroys many parts. You see a bunch of pirates flying in the air. Aerys is still running with Blackbeard. And then we see a bunch of world nobles that are evacuating and all that stuff, as thinking that it's dangerous. Let's see, and saying that we should punish. Some of them even wondering, like, who should we punish for allowing this to happen to them? Marines get the world nobles to be escorted quickly. We have the world nobles saying, "Don't you dare leave without us, or we'll put you all to death." As the Marines just trying to say, "Hurry, my lords." And then we see the Raja pirates in the southwest part, with Rayleigh carrying Shiki. Let's see. As I think Raja is messaging Rayleigh saying, "Hurry up, Rayleigh, this island's doomed." With Rayleigh saying, "Raja, you better be all right." And then you see some of them are going like, "Treasure, treasure, treasure." I'm so excited and wondering like, "Oh, is this a dead end?" And they're going like, "Make it snappy." But of course, you see here, this one treasure chest has a few Z's, so this is implied to be the chest that Baby Shanks is in, and this is how the Raja pirates accidentally stumbled upon him and all that. Accidentally took him. But yeah. And then we see a young dragon going like, damn it, I can't even save a single baby. Wondering where did he go, but in his own despair, if you will. And then we see a young Jimmy and young Kuma, Ginny, and Ivankov. With Ivankov's telling Kuma he needs to stop, saying that if you keep going, you'll put us in danger. With Ginny trying to plead, but Kuma says this might be still lives he can save. And then he notices someone in the distance. At first, you think it might be, given the fact that they come in the next paneling, if you will. Right, so you see a bunch of the Rox pirates, particularly one of those from last chapter. Captain John injured, but back up. Curtsy cursing Ganzi. And then you have Ganzi cursing Shiki. With someone in there commenting, "Is there even escape off this island?" And then you've got hold on, my phone is just it's just suddenly gone off, so let me just turn back on. With him just flying about laughing that he'd see, thinking that everyone thought you could get the best of him, as you got like Marines saying, "All forces to the shore." Let's see. With some pirates can't seemingly escape due to all the fire and all the stretches, and if you will. And then as tragedy strikes, you've got Rox chasing after Iris, with Iris realizing that he looks just like what his family looked like a bit earlier. And then Richie, of course, you see Iris realizing that, so you lost then, so apologizing, saying you had to face you had to face face off in order to save us, but saying it was too early, wasn't it? So showing that she actually knows a bit of what Rox's goals and ambitions were, but realizes that due to the fact that Rox came to save them, this left him vulnerable, which allowed Emu to beat him and then possess him. So now she's feeling like that. Let's see. As a result of this, let's see. He's been defeated before he could even get the chance to achieve his goals. As she declares to her son that they will jump into the sea just to swim, saying whatever it takes to keep the Davy blood alive, saying you have to survive no matter what it takes. As a Marine notices Scabies at the shore, as you see, they notice Iris, if you will, and you see the Marines are about to attack her and all that stuff. Rox behind. It seems like she's doomed, but then Kuma jumps in and teleports them away, and then himself away as Rox finishes his slash. A massive explosion happens with Rox's Haki in the boom, but Rox also completely destroys the Marine ship, so they kind of got their just desserts in that regard. And then Emu, who thinks that Emu thinks that seemingly thinks that Blackbeard and Eris are dead, orders Rox on Davy to snuff out every last life left on the island. As Marines then contact Vice Admiral Garp, saying that there's no time, with Garp saying, no, you lot hurry, how many are still on the island? With the Roger pilot also asking where he is, with him saying, I'm fine, once everyone's on the ship, let me know, got that. And then we see Rox attacking a bunch of random pirates. Maybe some of them were part of his crew, with them going like, stop it, Rox. They go like, Rox. I'm wondering why does he look like that, as he's being completely possessed. And then you've heard both Roger and Garp shouting, get out here, Rox, using their Conqueror's Haki, as Emu commands them to face them as let me just go let's see, Roxanne is meeting up with Garp and Roger, with Garp talking about how look at what a mess he looks, with Roger saying you can't go after my crew. And then you have Roger and Rox seemingly contacting Roger and Garp, arguing maybe the voice of all things, and they seemingly heard it. At least that's what many people are guessing, unless Rox is doing some sort of telepathy here. But yeah, going like, what? Roger's going like, what's that voice? Garp is just remaining silent as Rox says, help me. With them asking, why do you look like that? With Rox going like, crying, going like, please just kill me, which surprises them as Rox now charges towards them, ready to fight as the long-awaited battle of Rox versus Roger and Garp is about to begin, ending the chapter. So yeah, that is basically it. So that's the end of the summary of the chapter. Now for my overall thoughts. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go a little bit of a nitpick, because throughout the chapter, everyone seems to be confused what is going on with Rox, as Rox is sort of like attacking them and all that stuff, and or that big monstrous form, and it's like I don't know, these five, it feels like they should have an idea what's going on at the very least, because it's like, okay, Rox was fighting like this big shadowy monster thing. They don't know it's Emu, of course, but You know, that Rox was fighting the shadow monster. Then let's see, as he did that, it's like they should probably realize that okay, Emu must have done something to Rox because he now looks like a giant demon-like monster. But they seem to be completely confused that he's basically attacking them. So it's like I mean, it feels a bit weird because they're saying like it feels like there should be at least some dialogue of like you're going that route saying, Rox, what's going on? What did that black shadowy thing do to you? Or something like that, at the very least. Because at least you think they would like at least notice or something, but I don't know. It just seems to be not actually happening. If I had to guess, and maybe it's just that Oda's just like sort of speeding it up and can't really get them like seeing it, or let's see, it's like Rox and Emu too far in the distance for them to see that Rox is transforming. Emu's transforming Rox into something they don't know. But yeah, that's basically my one sort of criticism with like this chapter. It might be arguably a bit of a minor nitpick. I mean, this chapter is basically phenomenal. Let's see, there's nothing that it is a very good chapter. It's just this one bit that's just really confused me. But who knows? Maybe this is Oda speeding up and like this being like the sort of betrayal for them or something like that. Particularly like with Kaido, as he talks about pirates always betray you in the end. But though granted, he double crossed Big Mom, so that might have also been the words there. But yeah. Anyway, I do like but one thing I will say about this chapter, I do like how you see that this chapter basically confirms that, yeah, Rox was resisting being possessed as much as possible against Emu. And let's see, he was trying his best to not lose his conscience. It's not until like Emu slams into the ground does he start to lose conscience and then be possessed. But also because, of course, there's like moments that Rox is able to anger Mu, which you can see here. And then Mu trying to taunt him with like, let's see, like, oh, I'm going after your friend, King Harold, and his giants. And he's like, you leave him alone. So it's nice to see that it seems that Rox and Harold, even though they left on the bad terms, let's see, with their friendship a few chapters back, it seems that Rox does deep down still care for Harold. And who knows, maybe they managed to amend their friendship somewhat just before God Valley started, where Harold is pretending to lose or something. But I'm very curious to see how Harold's going to respond to all this. But yeah. But I think the most interesting thing of this chapter is basically Rox talking about Davy D. Jones as apparently king of the world, and this apparently very furiously angers Emu, who says like, no, he was never king of the world. You're talking insolence. This is only Mu's world. This is Mu is the only true king of the world, or Emu, if you will. But Rox is just continuing to sort of mock him and all that stuff about it. How who do you fear more, Joe Boy or Rox or Davy D. Jones? And it goes to show that Emu. Let's see. This goes to show that Rox does know about Joy Boy, and this also confirms that Joe Boy and Davy D. Jones were very likely two separate individuals. And if you go by Mr. Morge's very fantastic video he's recently put by talking about what the Mysteries of the Void Century is, it's like that Davy D. Jones was like the king of the ancient kingdom. It was likely the good king before maybe sort of similar fate happened to Rox right now, and maybe King Harold is now let's see, and that is eventually that move, let's see, caused what led to his eventual downfall. But yeah, but it's clear that but also might explain why the world nobles, also hate the Davy clan so much, is because they're technically the true family that should be ruling the world, which, who knows? We don't know what Davy D. Jones was like as a king. He could have been one of those good kings, which normally happens in One Piece when, like, one power's dethroned and a new tyrannical usurper takes over, as we see like with Doflamingo, Eno, Crocodile attempted to, Holy Jones attempted to, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it could be very likely that Davy D. Jones was a good king, but let's see, something happened that caused him to be the world to turn against him. We don't know, which might also show us another sense of tragedy with like the Davy clan. It's where like, let's see, we all thought there might have been a general evil D clan, if you will, or evil, let's see, D clan that's betrayed the rest of them or something. But no, it turns out they might actually be, might have been good people. They might have been morally great people, but at the very least. But due to the tragedy that befell their family, it eventually spiraled to like Blackbeard to eventually become like the monster he is now today and all that stuff. So yeah, it's like it could possibly be like this noble bloodline that's now become the most evil pirate. Its last living descendant is an evil pirate bent on, let's see, world domination and maybe even destroying the world to some extent. So yeah. So I thought that was pretty good. And what else is there to talk about? But yeah, I've already mentioned Emu making fun of mocking Hertsy Howard peace thing, but it does confirm with like what Emu says that okay, the giants are indeed the perfect soldiers. So there are those that apparently still doubt the giants' strength, but it's clear at this point that Emu sees the giants being a very curtsy, perfect factor for an army, and thinks that with King Harold, okay, let's see, with a king like him, it's easy for him to exploit and manipulate the giants to suit his own ends. So yeah, who knows? I wonder if that means that some of the giant pirates that have been dummy reversed by Emu will be they will be permanently that for a longer period of time. We have to wait and see. As Emu might get a bunch of more foot soldiers, we have to wait and see in that regards. But yeah. But anyway, let's see. I suppose it's time to talk a bit about some of the action. I know that some people will probably be a bit upset that some of this action pieces here is just like one attack and then those fights are done. But I think it's fine if you just do as like a action Rocks on the Rampage as a whole, fighting his former crewmates, but also goes to show just how much stronger Rocks is, especially with like this sort of like dummy reverse thing, and maybe this gives why Kaido put him on the top 5 of his list of pirates that could actually fight him, if you will. But I am curious to see if this is what changes Kaido's and gives Kaido the mentality that pirates always betray one another. If he thinks like his own captain has suddenly gone mad and betrayed him. But I also wonder if this also maybe of this hockey clash has given Ritzy Kaido the idea that okay, hockey tops all. Though granted, it seems like he also witnessed Roger using his hockey, so we'll have to wait on that end. But yeah. But it's definitely Big Mom that basically thinks that his captain, their captain has betrayed them, and I do like it's like hey, you're betraying your own people. So it seems like Big Mom, despite saying that Rocks is a tool or something, or an egomaniac, to one flashback Kaido had of her. Let's see, she does seem to like, at least seems to share some value of camaraderie with Rocks, but who knows, it might not be much. Granted, it's interesting that Rocks seem Whitebeard of himself. Arguably, you'd think he'd be the one to realize, okay, maybe Rocks wouldn't really do this, but he's just like thinks like, why are you calling us a hindrance and all that stuff? Do you really think that? Let's see. Granted, I am curious to see if perhaps when Roger, finally told, Whitebeard what the D clan is and all that stuff, I wonder if during that conversation he might be able to, he partly reveals to, Whitebeard why Rocks acted the way he did in God Valley. Who knows? Not sure if we'll ever get a clear up to that, but nevertheless, it is just awesome to see these two fight with like this sort of hockey clash. and all that stuff. So granted, Whitebeard are being a bit more on the defense, so I'm not sure if he is trying to hold back and say, I don't want to really fight you, Rocks, but it's like Rocks isn't really giving him an option. But nevertheless, also I think Whitebeard using his devil foot as well. So yeah, but I do love how the fact that let's see, their clash causes God Valley to split. So, yeah, you gotta see a glimpse of near prime Whitebeard's strength, if you will. So, yeah, and the fact that it's covering a bunch of buildings and a bunch of ships, yikes. Granted, most of them seem to have survived it, but that's One Piece, if you will. But you never know. But yeah, I'd say that was pretty fun to see. That was pretty fun to see Rocks. Let's see, Rocks and Whitebeard's clash do that. Let's see, granted, we still see, we learn that some of the world nobles are still basically on the island. Of course, they're being their sport brats as much as they are. Just hope that someone will eventually punch them, but who knows? That'll probably not be until like the modern times when everyone invades the Holy Land or something. But yeah, but other than that, I do like how Aris is determined to try and get Blackbeard out. But yeah, I do like how let's see, during the whole chaos, you see one of the Roger pirates. I can't remember his name, but he accidentally picks up the treasure with Baby Shanks in it. So it's like this is a moment this small moment where Baby Shanks is just sleeping while Rayleigh is just telling everyone to carry the treasure while carrying Shaki. That telling everyone that let's see, telling everyone that it's time to leave and all that stuff, but they're just all excited for treasure. But they're also eventually, arguably, would be Roger's sort of like adopted son, if you will, but arguably their future pretty cabin boy. But yeah, it's nice to sort of see that little bit there, if you will. Let's see. Even though, granted, I will admit I did not notice this when I first read the chapter, but it is what it is. But I do like how this also you see Dragon. Let's see, with the Baby Shanks being taken away, he's like, damn it, I couldn't save even the baby. And it sort of really reminds me of Luffy at the end of like the Shadow Body arc, where he couldn't save even one of his comrades from like Kuma. Of course, granted, that actually benefited the Straw Hats in the long run. But that moment, Luffy felt just like tremendous despair as the fact that it was just his own powerlessness, and Dragon is having a very similar moment here. Arguably, this was probably leading up to his resolve to become the Revolutionary Army's leader, eventually one day do like the revolution. So yeah, that is pretty cool to see. I do like also how you've got like at this point Kuma has saved so many people that Ivankov is just like you gotta stop now, you gotta go. Let's see, you're too damaged at this point. Let's see, we're all gonna get in danger if we keep staying here. But I do like how Kuma's just like being such a kind soul he is, wants to try and see if there might be some lives he can still save. Let's see, granted, I will admit, with the way I would have paced it, it made us sort of think that these Rocks pirates are I've gone too far. These Rocks pirates might have been one of them, but nope. But it just seems to be more of them just let's see. Oh, they're just showing what's happened to like the Rocks pirates who are backstabbing each other. Captain John is still injured, though granted I assume he'll probably get some treasure still. Gonzuri is also injured, but cursing Shiki, of course. And Shiki seems to be the one to become the victor out of all this treasure napping. So yeah, you're basically seeing everyone just turning against each other. And this is like the downfall of the Rocks pirates happening on its own. The lesser members, if you will, and Shiki double-crossing each other for treasure. And the top, members of the Rocks pirates seemingly think that their captain has gone mad and attacked and betrayed them, if you will. So yeah, it's nice to see that sort of thing as everyone is panicking around with them and all that stuff. So yeah, but yeah, it is interesting, of course, to see let's see, Rox, the fact that Eris realizes that when Rox is sort of like chasing them and all that stuff. Let's see, Rox is chasing them and all that stuff, and Eris realizes that, oh no, let's see, you've been defeated and all that stuff. But it's also interesting to learn that she seems to have known what Rox's plans and goals are and all that stuff, and seems like knows the fair shares. Like you were beaten, Etsy realizing that you were beaten and knows probably why. It is kind of interesting to see that she realizes that, okay, her husband who came to save them has probably been turned into a demon as a result of this, and realizes that Rox seems to have this plan to beat Emu, and it's like you're not ready yet, but it's like you put all your goals and ambitions aside to try and save us, but now, let's see, you've become this monster and all that stuff, and as a result, she is more determined than ever to make sure that her son survives, so that way the Davy clan's promise and legacy will continue, which I will admit I forgot to mention a bit about my thoughts on the promise. I will admit I thought the whole promise thing was when Rox was talking about how he will one day return but to the Holy Land, but no, that's not the case. It's more of like a promise that the Davy clan has done, arguably probably to return to like their rightful places like kings of the world, though granted, I think at this point they've lost the title, and now the one who's trying to do that is a monster. And of course, probably even more chaos than good. So it's like as much as like the Davy clan has been wrongly dethroned, if you will, possibly, that having them back is not necessarily going to be a good thing, especially who is now like the last survivor of the Davy clan being, of course, Blackbeard. So yeah, but I will admit the one thing I really liked in this whole chapter was is the fact that, well, basically as she's being attacked, and let's see, she's in despair. Marines are just firing on all sides. She can't swim as a result, and then Rox is behind her. She looks like she's about to die, but of course, Kuma in his kindness saves her and her son, and then himself finally, after realizing that, okay, that's the only way to escape now after Rox is about to attack. So yeah, I do admit, I think for many people, Kuma is once again being like the sort of MVP of like or the best kid character who had such an impact that not only did he save Luffy but also Blackbeard. So it's like, and which is a bit of an irony given the fact that Kuma, when he was a warlord, said, I don't trust Blackbeard. I do wonder if Kuma ever realized that, okay, the last person he saved on God Valley was in fact Blackbeard. I could be wrong in that regard, but we'll have to wait and see in that regards. But yeah, but everyone was just getting so hyped for Kuma, saying like best kid character or like the MVP of this arc, which props to him, I guess, because it's like his actions he has defined arguably, let's see, the biggest pirate rivalry arch enemies that you're going to see with Luffy and Blackbeard, but also this seems to have at least, very least, made Emu think that okay, the Davy clan's wiped out, but no, they're still alive and coming back and ready for a vengeance. Of course, Emu must at some point realize that Blackbeard was likely from the Davy clan, or at least the Five Elders did, or something, given the fact that let's see, Saint Sand talks about Blackbeard's lineage and all that stuff. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, but it gets really a sort of like heartbreaking when you see Rox just going on when Emu orders Rox to go on a rampage, and you see him just like attacking basically everyone, pirates included, and this is where it gets Roger and Garp to finally come and like call out Rox and say, hey, we're picking a fight, which I will admit, it's the sort of message voice thing. I do wonder if that is the voice of all things. And at the very least, this means that Garp can also hear it, which I will admit. Let me just find it. With like Rox and Garp hearing it. I do wonder if that means that Dragon, since he's like, Garp's son, Could he also hear the voice of all things? I wonder if they could all hear Sinisha. I'm not sure. Granted, I do hopefully, who knows, maybe at some point we'll see Garp near Sinisha, that he hears the voice or something, or maybe even the Sea Kings. Who knows? But if so, I would like a chapter to confirm it. Granted, it could just be regular telepathy, and Rox, with the last of his will, is sort of like asking them to kill him and all that stuff, which, let's see, you can see the heartbreak of Rox's tears here. I do love the fact that he's like, he seems to have completely lost. This is such a tragedy, especially for like a member of the D tribe, because it's like normally D's, when they die, they go out with a smile, but no, this seems to be more like a situation where Clover's in, where there's no escape, no despair. He's lost everything. Rox thinks he probably only killed his only child along with his wife and all that stuff. Well, it was a pretty awesome attack that managed to slice a Marine ship, so justice that's for them. But you can but I wouldn't be surprised if Rox is just completely broken. It's like he's lost his family. He's now become a demon. He can no longer control himself. He's lost his crew, all that stuff. It's just like asking just Roger and Garp to just like put him out of his misery and all that stuff, which does surprise the two, because of like this is probably the last thing they expected to come out of Rox's mouth and all that stuff. So yeah, and now it's finally we finally got the full context of like what happened when 957 came out. Let's see, where Sengoku talks about the God Valley incident and the fact that Roger and Garp teamed up. It's okay. It makes sense now. After seeing the events of the Giant / Rox Pirates flashback, we see who Rox is, how God Valley played, how God Valley took place. And it's like, okay, how does this lead to the scenario of Garp and Roger teaming up to prevent, let's see, to protect the World Nobles from Rox's rampage? But no, it turns out the World Nobles are the ones causing all the chaos. And the fact that Moo's behind all this, and then they actually managed to possess Rox, and now you're actually getting to see this legendary battle that is probably, let's see, many One Piece fans probably might have thought was the equivalent of Hashiyama versus Mine, of course, with a few more players. Granted, I expected more of Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard to take part in the battle, as I think the way Sengoku, I can't just say it. Sengoku, I just can't say it today. But yeah, you know who I mean. Talked about when it came to this legendary battle. So, yeah. It's finally here. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. Granted, I know the chapter came out a few days ago. I'm not going to give my thoughts until the official translation comes out. But yeah, this chapter is just like perfect build-up hype, if you will. Building up to this fight that's been built up for like over 300 chapters now. So yeah, it's finally here, and I'm excited. So yeah, overall, if I had to give this chapter a score, arguably, ideally, I would probably give it a 10 out of 10, just for all the hype moments of seeing Rox, Tritzy trying to resist Imu's control, and then mocking him with like Davy D. Jones about him being the former king of the world, and then mocking like, who you're scared more of, Joe Boy, Davy D. Jones, with Imu showing emotion to this, trying to then taunt Rox about going after his friends, the Giants, and then his wife and child, but eventually Imu was able to get Ritzy fully have Rox being possessed as a demon, seeing him take out his like crewmates and all that stuff, and fighting them. Seeing how Baby Shanks has been accidentally picked up by the Roger Pirates, Dragon's Own Despair being similar to Luffy's, all that stuff, with eventually leading up to the eventual Garp and Roger versus Rox battle. Granted, you also had like Whitebeard versus Rox for a bit, but still. I guess you could also say nitpick of like only double-page spreads for each fight, but it's fine, I think. But yeah, but arguably, but yes, I do feel like the real complaint is, of course, the fact that they don't seem to be aware that, okay, Rox has been, looks like he's been possessed by Mu or something, or at least one form or another, given the fact that now looks like a giant monster, but I digress. So arguably this chapter should be like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, anyway, that's my overall thoughts of this chapter. I hope those who end up listening like what I had to say, and I want to thank I've got Power 99, 10 out of 10 for me. That's fair. And he goes like, this chapter told me one thing about One Piece, that the real villain is the government, which is something we've always known. Arguably, yes. I think this chapter has really emphasized that the world government really is sort of like evil, and that, okay, yeah, they need to be taken down. The final antagonist, very likely, and the only thing I can think of is maybe Blackbeard. Retzi manages to maybe last minute steal the spotlight and all that stuff, and actually take down Mu or something, or at least take down Mu once he's weakened by maybe fighting Luffy, and then Luffy and Blackbeard fight. But arguably, but you can see just how evil the world government in this chapter, in this like a flashback of like they're real monsters that need to be taken down. So we'll have to wait and see in that regards. But yeah, this chapter has like it's like like I said, it's either like a 10 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10, depending if you want to go with the nitpicks. But yeah, this chapter has been basically really phenomenal, and this God Valley flashback has been phenomenal. And finally, we're here ready for this legendary fight between Rocks, Roger, and Garp. So yeah. Anyway, Power to 99, thank you for your comments. They have been interesting, though I wish you had interesting, so I did not notice them straight away. But hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say, by parts of this stream that you watched, and I hope that's the case with everyone else. And I'll see you all next time for the next chapter review when I get the chance to do so. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber signing out. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.